Ladies, it is such a beautiful day today and I'm in such a good mood. I want to film, I want to talk, and I just thought it'd be really fun to do some great fashion content for you guys today and basically just give you the lowdown in the industry and tell you 7 things I wish I knew before I started working in fashion. So let's get straight into it and waste no time whatsoever. I did make a TikTok on this, so 7 things I wish I knew before I worked in the industry are on my TikTok, so you can go and search my TikTok, will be right here.
These are 7 things I wish I knew before I started working in the fashion industry.
More in depth and give more detail. These are 7 things I wish I knew within the industry before I began working within the industry. Oh my gosh, English is free. And yeah, let's get into the video. Please leave a like, comment and subscription down below. And yeah, let's go. Okay, so the first thing I wish I knew before I began working in the industry is that I might be the only one. Obviously you can see you're not blind. I am of colour. I'm sure many of you watching are also of colour. And sadly, coloured people aren't actually that many in the industry. And I think that was a big shock to me coming in. Well, not a shock to me because obviously I grew up watching Ugly Betty and I saw that like in the room of Caucasian people, she was the only Latina. So I kind of saw that was happening, but obviously that was like set in the early 2000s. We're now in like the 2022s, 2021s, and like it's still happening. So like I wish I would have known that I was kind of going to be the only one, because you know someone can tell you, but I really wish I would have prepared myself for the fact that I will be. I sit in board meetings, I sit in client meetings, and I look at the screen and I am the only black person, and it sucks. Like it actually does suck, and I feel like some days more than others you can feel it, especially when you're having a crappy day or like you feel kind of down and stuff. You do feel it in terms of like relatability to other people and co-workers. I know you're never really meant to get too close to your co-workers, but you know, sometimes it's natural to want to be close to people you spend like 40 hours of your week with. Do you know what I mean? But I kind of wish I knew that I was going to be the only one, because in the company I work here now, I think I'm one of 4 or 6 coloured people within the whole company, and on the fashion team I am the only black person. And that sounds so wild even saying it, but I'm grateful that diversity is starting to trickle in, and if I have to be the first, I have to be the first. But I can't wait for so many of you lovely people to get into the industry and be there with me. But yeah, I wish someone would have told me I might be the only one. Don't know how I would have better prepared, because I don't think you can ever prepare yourself to be like the only one. Like no one wants to be an outsider. I feel like a lot of the time I feel like an outsider. But yeah, I wish someone would have told me I was going to be the only one. Thing I wish I knew, number 2, is that it is okay to make mistakes. I'm one of the type of people, and I'm sure there's probably others that are also this type of person, but I beat myself up. When I get something wrong, I beat myself up. When I don't hit a deadline, I beat myself up. Like, it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to ask for help. I think a lot of the time, you know, when you really want to prove yourself, you don't want to make mistakes and you don't want to ask for help. But I feel like making mistakes and asking for help is actually how you learn. You learn more like by actually seeking advice from people than just like trying to figure it out on your own. I'm not saying sometimes to not be resilient and actually like work through it and just like get through it by yourself, but I wish I would have known that it was like okay to like seek help and like make mistakes, because I feel like I beat myself up so much when I make mistakes. Still to this day, even though I know now that like it's okay to make mistakes, still to this day I beat myself up when I make a mistake. So I wish I kind of would have known that it's okay to make mistakes and that like you're not gonna die because you got something wrong. I really beat myself up, and if you beat yourself up and you're like me, stop it, because it's bad, and it's okay to make mistakes. We're human, we're gonna make errors, we just have to learn from them, and that's all that matters. I think I wish I knew, number 3, I'm kind of a capper because I always knew this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Networking is your best friend. Network with whoever you can. That doesn't matter if it's the post office or the editor-in-chief of a Fortune 500 company, CEO, editor-in-chief, CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Network with whoever you can, because you never know when somebody could become useful. Like, you don't know, that person that served you that coffee this morning, their sister could be Anna Wintour. Not very likely their sister would be Anna Wintour, do you know what I mean? But like, you know, you never know how these people could come in useful in a couple of years. I use Anna Wintour because she's a fashion girl, but you know, you get the drift. Like, you never know how useful people can be in a couple of years. So like, just networking with everybody and just being kind to everybody really would put you at an advantage. The 4th thing I wish I knew before coming into the industry is be kind. Obviously, I was brought up with good manners. I thank the Lord and I thank my mum that she raised me with such great manners. But like, being kind comes in so useful. This is kind of like a sub bullet point of my previous bullet point, but being kind comes in so useful. I'm going to give you an example. So I work in luxury fashion PR, and there's a lot of the times where I have to send things out, and there's a certain cut off in the point of the day. I think it's like 4 p.m. where like you have to send your things out before 4 p.m. if you want it to get there the next day. Not if you're using couriers, but then like, let me get to logistics side of it. I'm so logistical thinking, I'm sorry guys. Let me just keep it surface level. So I had a parcel that needed to get somewhere the next day. I think I managed to get it all packaged up and everything at like 5 o'clock. And because I'd been so kind to the DHL man previous times, he allowed me to put my parcel in before the cut-off time, and it got to the place I needed to get to the next day. All that was the fact that I was kind, and he thought, oh, this girl's kind, like, I can do her a solid. Like, I think people underestimate the value of being kind, because you never know how people might need it, or you never know when being kind might come in useful for you. Like, I'm not saying you should look at everything every time you're kind as, oh, that person owes me a favour, but like, it can come in really useful, and I think people aren't kind in the world anymore. Like, be kind, it's good for you. It makes you feel good, and it makes the other person feel good. So yeah, that's something I wish I knew before coming in the industry, that like, I should be very kind. I didn't kind of know it, but still, you should know it before you come into the industry as well. Be very kind. Thing I wish I knew, number 5, go home. Babe, go home. If your working day ends at 6, go home at 6 o'clock. If your working day ends at 5, go home at 5 o'clock. You don't owe anybody anything after your working hours are finished. I think it's so easy to lose touch with boundaries, especially working in such a fast-paced industry, that you're like, oh crap, like, this needs to be done urgently. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Like, we're not doctors. We're not doctors. We are fashion people. We're saving the planet one dress at a time, I guess you could say. I always say that to my friends, which is like absolutely hilarious. It's just a joke. Like, please don't take it too seriously. But go home. Set your boundaries. Like, babe, it's okay to go home at 5 o'clock. It's okay to go home at 6 o'clock. Do not feel bad, and do not allow anyone else to make you feel bad. Because when you stop going home at 6 o'clock, your day disappears. You already spend 10 hours of your day working at a company. Like, you already spend 10 hours of your day doing that. Like, I'm going to run you through my schedule and explain to you why it's so crucial I leave at that 6 o'clock when I finish, because I will have no time. I wake up at 5:40 to go to the gym. I get to the gym around 6:10. I work up from 6:10 to 7:10. It takes me about 15 minutes to walk to the gym, so like I'll get home at like 7:30 to 8:30. I'm getting ready for work. 8:30 to 9:30 I get to work. 8 o'clock to 9, like, it can vary, depends on what transport's kind of saying. But then I work from 9 to 6, take my hour lunch obviously, because also take a lunch break. It's okay to take a lunch break. Take your lunch break, babe. Like, you deserve it. You're not paid for it. Like, I don't know if companies pay for it. You might pay for it. If you are paid for it, so you definitely take it. But anyway, you finish work at 6 o'clock. Now, you saw when I just told you about how I get to work, it takes me an hour to get to work. It also takes me an hour to get back from work. That depends on rush hour. That depends on, like, the way the trains are moving. If there's a train strike or something like that, it can take you longer. Like, you never know what's going on with transport. So that's like 6 to 7. I have to go to bed at like 9, 10 o'clock so I can make sure I'm at the gym for that 6:10 the next day. That's 2 hours of the day to myself. In those 2 hours, I've now got to cook for myself for work the next day, which can take an hour, and then I have like 1 hour to myself. Like, I feel like it's so important that you leave at the time that you need to leave at, because you'll realise you get stuck in this thing where like you're spending all your time working, and all you do is come home and sleep, and you have to go back to work the next day. Like, this isn't the way you should live your life. Like, you should have hobbies outside of work, things you enjoy doing outside of work. I get to see friends after work, or I get to work on my blog after work. I do things after work that make me happy, and it's because I have that time in the day to do that I can. So it's so important that you leave and set boundaries and leave on time when you need to. I understand that if something like really time pressure, you should have had, and you had the time of the day to do it, and you just procrastinated all day so you didn't do it, stay until after. But babe, please leave at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, whenever your designated time to leave is. Leave. Because no one can talk bad on you for leaving at the time you finish work, and no one can make you feel bad. Like, don't allow anyone to make you feel bad because you want to go home. Like, that's not a thing that somebody should be able to make you feel bad about. Like, so in a less rambly way, leave at 6 o'clock. Things I wish I knew. Number 6 is it's okay to say no. If your workload is already very heavy, learn to say no. The worst thing you can do for anybody that you work with is not actually time yourself and be able to produce like a great quality of work which is already being asked of you. I feel like a lot of the time people overcapacitate themselves. Is that a word? I'm gonna hope that's the word. But people like overestimate what they can handle. Do you know what I mean? So like if someone's telling you like, Sharon, can you do this for me? Yeah. Sharon, can you do that for me? Yeah. While you already have your own set workload of things you do. I'm guilty of it. I say yes to a lot of things I should not say yes to, even when I know that it's gonna be really, really tight. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I'm not gonna say I'm a perfectionist in general, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So I like to send things off of good quality, and I get really stressed and frazzled when I know things aren't going well. And like I said earlier, I sometimes am a bit of a stickler for asking for help. Like I can't always ask for help. I always want to prove that I can do it. And like you need to realize that it's important to set your boundaries and say no, because it's good to pick up other people's work, of course, like you show you're very capable, but if your own work is not being done to a good standard, then you're going to lose credibility in those people's eyes. It doesn't matter how much work you're picking up, your work needs to be of a good standard to be recognised. So make sure you're saying no when you need to say no, and making sure that you're able to handle what is in front of you and what's already on your plate. Don't go look for more on other people's plates when you can't already handle what's on your own plate. So I'd say the sixth thing I wish I knew before I worked in the industry was that like it's okay to say no. It's okay to put your boundaries in place and know what you can and can't handle. And the seventh thing I wish I knew before I started working in the industry is to listen twice as much as I talk. You will hear so many people like open up themselves to you when you just sit back and listen. And when you sit back and listen, you can really digest and understand the vibe of the person and how much you can trust them. You cannot trust everybody you work with, and it's so important that you know this. Some people are out there to sabotage you, and that is not to put the fear or worry of God in you in terms of like everyone's out to get me at work, but like listen twice as much as you like talk, and don't open yourself up too much to your work colleagues. Not everybody's your friend. I think that this is a professional environment you're trying to thrive in, so don't go and open yourself up to like being able to be taken advantage of because you've opened yourself and spoken too much. Never speak bad about your colleagues, and make sure like you just listen more than you speak. I feel like before I used to love speaking so much that I used to like allow things that were really crucial that I should have actually known go over my head. But like when I took the time to like listen instead of speaking, I ended up being able to be like having mini promotions because I knew how to like leverage certain positions to make sure I'm getting like the best out of my work and stuff like that. I hope that's making sense, but like listen twice as much as you speak. And that's not even just for fashion, that's for everything you do in life, in your career, in your relationships. Like listen instead of always speaking. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's the 7 things that I wish I knew before I started working in the industry. I hope those were helpful, and if you have any questions or if you need any other advice, leave a comment below. Make sure you're reading my blog because I always post trend forecasts there, as well as other advice and careers. Guys, if you want to get into the industry, make sure you're tuning into my blog because I have so many careers on my blog from different industries, from the fashion industry, but within different sectors that you guys can tune into. And if you ever need help with your CVs or your applications, just let me know and I will help you. I'm thinking to do a video on like how to make the perfect fashion CV and cover letter, so just leave a comment below if you'd like that and you think that would benefit you, and we'll definitely get that done because I am all for helping you guys. I love you and thank you for watching my video.